Hello and welcome to the Midweek Mashed Tattie Sportscast. This is MMA Mash, the weekly mixed martial arts roundup that features all the latest news and reviews from the UFC, One Championship, Bellator, the PFL, and so much more. My name is, of course, Mick, and as always, I'm joined at cage side by the man that's more question than answer. It's Mr. Paul Kerr.
Hey, yo.
And the ever controversial Mr. Harvey A. Smith. Hit us with something controversial this week. Tell me you've got something.
Well, I don't know if it's controversial, but so there's a court in America.
It's controversial already.
No, North Dakota. A judge in North Dakota.
Even better.
Federal judge, say you.
Even better. It just keeps going.
Is awarded 1.5 billion.
What?
No, sorry, that's a lie. Is ordered a Mexican drug cartel to pay $4.6 billion to their families after they killed their family. And I think 9 family members got killed. This was in 2019, but aye. I don't know how.
What? Right, here you drug cartel people take some of your drug money and pay it to them because what you did was wrong. Like, what?
And you've got the money for it. You're good for it. We know you're good
They've
for
got
it.
the money, certainly.
Look at your house.
I just want to see how they've got to enforce it.
Aye.
I
can't.
that's strange even for fucking America, man.
Aye. Absolutely ridiculous.
Okay, well, that was weird. Controversial indeed. Right, well, it's in theory going to be a short and sweet show today, so on with the show. Let's get it on. We are diving into UFC Vegas 58. It was last night for us, July 9th, at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas. Main event was Rafael Fiziev versus Rafael Dos Anjos. I'm sure you've seen at least some. So what have you seen, lads? Are we talking main card? Are we talking maced it?
We're talking a good fair portion of it, my friend. I even
portion.
broke my streak and went to the prelims and did a wee checky a couple of fights in the prelims.
Unbelievable.
There were names that popped up to me that certainly interested me that I had to check out. I have questions, certainly. I'm sure we'll come to it.
Awesome.
I have seen
Harvey?
a good portion of them, aye.
A good portion.
Yes. I just haven't watched the decision fights.
So you've been a snob, a knockout,
yeah,
a finish snob.
This week I've just that, literally, aye.
I mean, I'm a self-certified, I'm a card-carrying knockout snob. I've got to be honest with you. It's got my day of birth and my picture on it and everything. I feel where he's coming from.
Well, let's do as we usually do, and we shall start from the bottom, and you'll stop anytime you want, and we can talk about the whatever fights stand out.
Stop!
So...
Nah, I just wanted to do it for a laugh. Carry on.
Opening the undercard was Kakramanov. No, that's not right. Kakramonov. Aye, go with that. Kakramonov defeating Ronnie Lawrence. Harvey, I'm guessing you've not seen that. It was the first fight of the night and it was also a decision, so that doesn't bode well.
No. Didn't see that one.
There was a fight. I should have wrote this down. Damn it. There was a fight that got cancelled pretty late. I can't remember what fight. It was a women's fight. I don't remember what in.
Can't
remember who it was fighting. Sorry?
Nina Nunes and Cynthia Calvillo.
That was it. That's the one. Nina Nunes had a stomach bug of some description. She was not well. So that fight got pulled. So that meant that the second fight of the night bumped onto like the regular undercard away for the early prelims. So that first fight was the only one on the early prelims. The way it shaped up. So the early prelim show was maybe a kind of countdown show.
Right.
And then it just kind of built into that fight, and then that led straight into the rest of the undercard. So next up we had an absolute cracker, and Kennedy Zachukwu defeating Carol Robertson. I really enjoyed that fight, I've got to say. Impressive finish for Zachukwi. But aye, cracking fight, man. 2 and 3/4 rounds, I guess. Finish came quite late, so aye. I was impressed with there's a lot of potential with Zachukwi. It's a hard name to say, man.
Zachukwi.
You said it like 2 different ways there.
I keep saying way rather than woo.
It's woo. See, to be honest, wouldn't have a clue how to pronounce that looking at it.
Zachukwi. The N is silent, I know that much. So it's Zachukwi. I'm sure that's right. It's as close as I'm getting anyway. Zachukwi. I mean, it's probably got more of a presence about it if you say it right. That's territory I'm not treading on. I'm not gonna try and figure that out. I believe the lad is originally from Nigeria, and he now lives and trains in like Dallas, Texas, I think it is.
Yeah.
So aye, apply your own Nigerian accent if you're willing to risk that. I ain't. So, really fun fight. He's got a lot of potential. It was kind of went everywhere, that fight, and then big finish. So, I thought 2 thumbs up for me.
2 thumbs up for me.
Next up, we had David Unama defeating Garrett Armfield. This one was a submission, an arm triangle choke in round 2.
It's a nasty one.
Not a bad fight. The choke, I mean, put him to sleep. Like once it was in. It was tight, man. Aye. No, I mean, run-of-the-mill fight, but it was not bad. It wasn't the best fight in the card or anything, but it was competitive. It was not bad. The finishing sequence was good. We then had the sister of the flyweight badass champ Valentina Shevchenko and Antonina Shevchenko, and she picked up, I believe, her second win in the trot, defeating Courtney Casey. Courtney Casey, of course, is the Scot come Aussie, and Shevchenko, she's no, as much as she's got every bit the striking pedigree that her sister's got, she's just no the same when it comes to MMA, and she struggled a bit at times in her UFC career. But I'm pretty sure, as I say, that's 2 fights in a row now, and she seems to be kind of rounding out her skill set a wee bit now, but she's got a ways to go before she's anywhere near her.
Did you feel particularly convinced by that though, Mick? Because I mean, for me watching that, I felt entirely unconvinced. Does this woman have a future at the top end of the sport? I genuinely don't believe so. She's so limited compared to her sister. Like she fights dead kind of. It's like she's tensed up. Like she's genuinely worried about the fight going off of the feet. That I think even with her striking, it takes it away from it. Like she's no hitting with a zing for me. Like she's just keeping range.
She fights like she's kind of scared of the grappling aspect.
That's all I got from it, mate.
It's weird. Like it seems like she's no interested in grappling, which is strange for somebody that's decided to come for a striking sport into a mixed sport that encompasses grappling. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe the opportunities are more rich in MMA, but like she was like one of the very best for her weight class in kickboxing and Thai boxing, world champion Thai boxer, something like 14-1 or something as a kickboxer. Like she's a fantastic striker. To me, it makes sense. It would have made sense to try and chase sort of glory and striking. If like I don't know if Glory Kickboxing's got a women's division that's suitable for her. I don't actually know what divisions they've got. I haven't actually looked at.
But anyway, some I know certainly know, but
nevertheless, she's followed Valentina into MMA and into the UFC. But she never looks as comfortable in the grappling as Valentina does.
She gets so much encouragement for your sister. All you could hear was her sister. Every time she landed a kick.
Oh,
it was like Ric Flair was there.
She's older than her sister, isn't she?
She might be. She might be the older one, Antonina.
Aye, Antonina's
She might be the older
one, I
sister.
believe.
I'm not 100% sure. I've got to say.
Aye.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe she's just been at, like, Valentina's maybe picked up the grappling at a younger age, and so she's transferred better. That's entirely possible.
I mean, kickboxing record where she's 39 wins.
I mean, that's a legit record for kickboxing. It just does.
She's fought 40. Sorry.
When you go first, Phil.
So she's fought 40 times and she's won 39. So it's a.
I mean, the biggest thing for me is you wouldn't even have noticed she was a world-class kickboxer there, for me. Like,
Well, I mean, that's a sad thing. I suppose that although Courtney Casey is perfectly capable, she's by no means a world-class kickboxer. But because of the sort of MMA rule set, and more so because Antonina seemingly is very hesitant to get involved with grappling, you don't see the striking, or you don't see her striking to her like fullest ability. You don't get that sort of world class striking at her. The reason that the cream of the crop look as good with their striking when it comes to MMA is that they're comfortable with their takedown defence. They're no scared to have somebody shoot in them. So they don't hold back their striking. They just let it all go, and if somebody shoots in, then they're confident that they can stop the takedown or reverse them or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know where she goes, man. Like, the striking 100% is there. If somehow she, it clicks and she can put all the pieces together, then it stands to reason that she could, she could take the mantle for Valentina if Valentina was moving up a division. You could have the two sisters at 125 and 135, but I just don't see it, to be honest. She's had some. I mean, she's over 10 fights in MMA now. I don't know her record. It's something like
10 and 4.
10 and 4.
10 and 4.
Is that right? 10 and 4?
10
Oh,
and
there you
4
go. I did get it.
Aye.
Aye, but so I mean, 14 fights as a pro, and like the pieces don't seem to be clicking into place yet. So I don't know.
You know, she made her MMA debut in 2002.
It doesn't surprise me, to be honest. It seems like she's dabbled in it, but it's only in later years that she's committed to it.
She had 3 fights in 2002. She won all 3 of them.
Right, okay.
And then she took, well, I don't know if it was on the same year, but she had 3 fights. The first one was in 2002. And then she took 12 years off and went to, so a 12-year hiatus, then came back in 2017.
To be fair, that maybe speaks to things a wee bit then. She's dabbled in it.
Exactly.
Thought, that's no bad, I could do that, but I'll stick with my striking now. And she's came back, the sport's just completely evolved for where it was when she first dabbled in it, and now it's like, oh, this is a bit harder than I remember. Whereas maybe at some point Valentina's just switched gears and committed to the learning the grappling side of things and MMA in general. I don't know, but I know that the two of them have been involved in combat sports for a long, long time. There was chat actually for the commentators about Fiziev, who we'll come back to with the main event, when he made his debut at an amateur level. I mean, I don't know exactly what it was he was doing, but when he competed for the first time in combat sports, Valentina Shevchenko was the referee in his fight. He was like 12 or something. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if it was like kickboxing or Thai boxing, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure he came for Thai boxing. I think that was his first martial art, I believe, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But anyway, Valentina was happy to be the referee for that fight. So that would have been, he's like 29-ish, I think. So it's like 16, 17 years ago. So early 2000s. That sound about right? Maths is clearly my strong point.
Oh my god. Do you know what? I was just letting you do the math. I didn't. I was like,
You didn't even
let him go.
attempt it.
And I
I
didn't even take note of the numbers. I was like, he's got it.
I was keeping the hell out of that.
Obviously not.
You put far too much confidence in me.
Not my table.
Looks like it.
Anyway, point being, the two of them have been around combat sports for a long time. The two of them are fantastic strikers. Valentina Shevchenko has been able to transition beautifully over to mixed martial arts, and she has a really strong grappling game to go along with her striking. She's a complete martial artist. Somehow Antonia just isn't. She can grapple, but she just doesn't seem to have the confidence in it that her sister does, and it really holds her back with the striking in MMA because of that. But anyway, we'll see where she goes. That's her, as I say, picked up a couple of wins in the trot, so we'll see what happens there. And I'm curious to see what they do with Courtney Casey and how she rebounds, because she seemed to be somebody that they were kind of keen to build up. So we'll see how that goes. Rounding out the undercard, then we had Cody Brundage defeating Tresean Gore. Big stoppage in this one. Cody Brundage landing a massive left hand in the first round, so 3 minutes and 50 seconds the stoppage came, so sort of 3.5 minutes ish in. Massive left hand for Brundage, drops Tresean Gore, and then Brundage got on top of him and just flattened him.
Oh,
the fight could have been stopped for the first strike.
Kids will feel that in years to come.
Aye.
That was a belter, a punch he landed.
It was pretty brutal, that one.
There was a lot of that, I felt like, in this card. A lot of absolutely sweet kind of connections with faces
throughout
the night. Like that was just
that's
one
a way
of
to
them.
put it.
There was a hell of a lot of that.
Yep. Aye. I mean, I don't. Would it be fair to say it's a nah?
I don't know what you're saying, mate. You're just making noises.
Card, but all the stoppages. I know. I'm not really getting any What? This must be great to listen to. All the stoppages were pretty solid, like heavy KOs and TKOs.
Aye, absolutely.
But on the balance of things, I think there's more decisions than anything else.
It was a good mix. A good mix, certainly, as far as I've
tried and failed with maths already, so I'm not going to try and count them.
Let's get you away from arithmetic and back
move
on
on swiftly.
Talk. That's a good idea.
So, cracker of a fight to round out the undercard. And then from that, we went on to an even better fight to open the main card, and Jamie Malarkey and Michael Johnson.
This was
and this actually got fight of the night.
Deservedly
Would you Adam and Eve it?
Deservedly so.
3-round split decision win for Jamie Malarkey, but it was a close fight.
I was going to ask, do you agree with that decision? Is that the correct decision for you? Because I could argue for both.
No, I feel like Malarkey was landing cleaner strikes, but Michael Johnson was landing better strikes. But I'd have to really watch it closely, like really pay attention to try and pick them apart, because it was really close, I felt.
I know. Highly entertaining fight and an absolute barn burner, and a good way home, as good a way as any on my main card. Really.
And it was like really consistent, man. Like they really kept a pace.
It was such a high workload for both guys. Like there wasn't really a time where it lulled, and I mean there were several times in the first 2 rounds where you thought, oh, that's it, it's gone. Like and then the guy hit would come back into it, like out of nowhere, man. Like it was great fun.
Yep.
Great
yep.
fun.
Really enjoyed that one. And then from there we had Ayman Zahabi, brother of world-renowned MMA coach Faraz Zahabi, defeating Ricky. I forgot how to say his name now. Ricky
Bobby.
Now that would be a treat.
I'm like failed to try this, man. I don't know what are you saying, Harvey?
Turios. Ricky Turios.
That sounds kind of right.
Turcios.
I think I'll go with that.
Or Turcios.
Ricky Turios. We'll go with that. I remember watching that fight near the commentator set and thinking, oh right, I need to remember that, because that's not how it's written. Must remember how to say that. Clearly I did. No bad fight, this one, no bad. It was never going to live up to Jamie Malarkey and Michael Johnson, but no bad fight. Interesting watching Zahabi. So, what does I say? Brother of Faraz Zahabi, who was like the head coach at TriStar up in Canada. Was obviously George St. Pierre's coach, was Ronnie McDonald's coach for a long, long time. Many MMA fighters have travelled to Canada just to get some sessions with him. So interesting to see him coaching his brother and to see the kind of dynamic there. It would seem that I don't know I'm assuming Faraz is older, but I don't actually know. But Ayman seems to like kind of look up to him and really respect him. I suppose you'd probably expect that, but aye, it was interesting nonetheless. But I mean, I don't know how exactly how high the ceiling is for Ayman Zahabi, but it's certainly like he's worthy of where he's at, sort of thing. Like he fairly comfortably won that fight. You know what I mean?
But you just thought it wasn't a real test to see where he can go. Is that what you're saying?
Aye, like I kind of want to see him against somebody a wee bit further up the rankings and see what he can really do, kind of thing. Like I don't look at him and think like, you know, that guy's a prodigy. Like I'm not thinking like Faraz is this amazing coach, and then this guy's been training with his brother who's an amazing coach for all his days and putting in the work, and like he's so like Faraz has got the mind and he's got the physical talent. Like I don't know if that's the case. He's a solid pro. How far can he go? I don't know. I didn't even mean to rhyme that, but that's cool that it rhymed.
He's 8 years younger than Zahabi. Faraz.
That really clears things up. Zahabi's 8 years younger than Zahabi.
Aye.
He's 8 years younger than Faraz. Faraz is 42 and he's 34.
Okay, right. So, so he's not got that long left in theory. So, interesting. Okie dokie. Moving on up to the only heavyweight fight on the card, we had Chase Sherman defeating Jared Vanderaa. A heavyweight fight that was really fun for more than a round. I really enjoyed that one. It went deep into the third round.
I have seen the finish of this fight in pubs all around the country, man. The way he just swung the kitchen sink at this man's face.
Aye.
Like, just by hook or by crook, he was putting this boy down with his hands, man. Just a barrage.
But he backed Vanderaa up to the cage and he just unloaded on him.
Oh, blasted, man.
I mean, even when he was backing him up to the cage, he was unloading on him.
Oh, he'd already started, aye.
He's wailing him. He's boom, boom, boom. He's on the cage, and you're like, ref. And like the camera angle that it's on, watching the ref kind of comes round and it's like, oh, I wonder what's going like, yes, he's getting battered. Stop him.
I might need to stop this one. Let me take a closer look.
That's your cue.
Aye, pretty brutal KO, man. Pretty brutal.
Pretty good nickname as well, by the way. The Vanilla Gorilla. Vanilla Gorilla.
Oh, aye.
Vanilla
Gorilla. I mean, it's fairly accurate as well. Like he is a bloody big gorilla here, man.
Big lumpy boy.
Aye. He strikes me as somebody that like he was probably like a defensive end or something like that, like through sort of high school and college. And he's decided to transition to fighting. You know what I mean? Like he's probably like a kind of naturally big athletic guy, but maybe wasn't quite good enough to really pursue sort of NFL kind of thing. So he's made the change. I mean, I'm just totally surmising here. I've got no idea if he's ever played American football in his life. He could have came through as a wrestler or whatever, but I've seen a few of his fights. Chase Sherman, he's got a good bit of potential about him. I want to see him get a good challenge next.
You're nearly right.
Oh, what was he?
He was an offensive.
There
He was
you
on the
go.
offensive line. Offensive tackle.
Good instinct.
So
He just looks like somebody that's got like that kind of acceleration off the line, just like this mass, just this human that can move quick and attack. Aye, that's cool. So then we had Said Nurmagomedov, that ominous name, Nurmagomedov once again. Said picking up a win over Douglas Silva de Andrade.
This was close for Friday night as well, by the way. I fair enjoyed that.
I mean, not too much to say. Just de Andrade he held his own at points, but like Nurmagomedov was winning that fight pretty much no matter what.
Right, I mean, but the thing is, I mean, am I talking about the right fight here when I'm saying that Andrade seemed to really start to get the measure of him kind of as the fight was ending?
I mean, he came back at him a bit, aye.
I felt like if that was a 5-round fight, Andrade was in the ascendancy, and Nurmagomedov was glad to be seeing the end of the third bell. Like,
based on the chat going into the fight, and then based on watching the fight, right, the two things combined, I think that Said went in there looking for and expecting an early stoppage, and then when it's no came, he's kind of went into autopilot, went through the motions, won the first 2 rounds, and then eased off a bit. He took his foot off the gas a wee bit, and then de Andrade just pushed back on him, and then whether or no Said had enough in him, like if there was a 4th and a 5th round, well, maybe we'd approach things different anyway, but
aye, so obviously that's
whether he still had it in the tank to sort of push Andrade back down and get more in control of the fight again. I don't know, but it kind of seemed like Nurmagomedov was kind of almost toying with him at times, like he could have took him down and just grinded the fight out, but like he was inclined to have a play with the striking and see what he could do.
He's a lot more of a showman than any other Nurmagomedov I've ever seen. Like,
I would say that's fair to say.
Chucking out the wee question mark kicks and all that, like all the kind of nice wee flicks of the legs, like a totally different kind of cat.
He seems to enjoy it, aye. He enjoys the striking. He's no there, like the rest of them, it's like it's business. Like there's no emotion. It's like they go in, they use the skill set that they've got, they get to the end of the fight, they win a decision, they collect their money, they go back to their village. Like that's what it's like. He seems to actually like enjoy fighting.
He definitely
he wants to knock a guy out. He wants to have a bit of
he's
fun.
He's after a wee cheeky knockout of the night, isn't he? With some of them, like
he had picked up a quick, I think it was a guillotine choke win in his last fight, in something like 47 seconds or something, and he had spoke about wanting to win this fight in under a minute. He wanted to come in and make a statement, get a second win in a row under a minute, big stoppage win. I'm pretty sure he was wanting to do it, but like knockout or TKO. I don't think he was like chasing a submission or whatever. And I just kind of get the feeling like that's no came, and he's been kind of disappointed in himself, and then he's just sort of went through the motions for there.
I mean, it's obviously definitely still a win for him, comfortably. Like, but it felt like he, maybe like you're saying, he's took the foot off the gas a wee bit, and he's nearly. I mean, nearly's maybe too giving Andrade a bit too much kind of credit as well. But it wasn't as comfy as I maybe have liked it in the last round, certainly.
Yep, I think that's fair. One of the judges gave Nurmagomedov all 3 rounds, and the other 2 just gave him the first 2. So, there was like de Andrade definitely. It was a lot more in the fight as the more it wore on. Exactly what the reasoning I don't know, but I've got a fair guess at it. Co-main event of the night was Kyle Barallo picking up a pretty comfy win over a striking phenom, really, in Armen Petrosian. A fantastic, tough kickboxer, Armen Petrosian. But apparently his grappling game needs a bit of work still.
Looks like it.
Barallo, who seems like a bit of a character, it seems like they've got a new Brazilian star in him. He knew exactly what he needed to do, and he came in and he did it. He
Came with a plan.
had no desire to test his ego, to appease his ego and test his striking against Petrosian. I mean, he held his own when they were striking, I suppose, but it was all about the grappling, ground control. Didn't really take too many risks, I've got to say.
A sensible performance for sure.
Aye. I mean, aye. There's going to be mixed feelings on that one. It's always nice to see a guy be aggressive and really chase a finish, but you can't blame him. You know what I mean?
No,
Against a guy like Petrosian, you can't be taking risks.
Kind of nuclear options there for that Petrosian. Like, you can see that, like that with his previous fight against Robocop, that he's got that ability to do something incredible. So,
yeah,
absolutely understandable.
Aye,
to get into that,
the chances of finishing him, the chances of finishing Petrosian on the feet are very low. The chances of being finished by Petrosian on the feet very high.
Aye.
So, the safe option was very much the best option for Paralo there, and I mean very comfortably beat him. Like it wasn't even close in the grappling.
Aye, just did what he wanted with him effectively.
Yep. Although interestingly, one of the judges gave Petrosian a round, and I'm not sure what round that would have been.
I'm not sure what fight he was watching either. Let's be honest.
That judge maybe got confused. I'm not sure.
As much as I really enjoy Petrosian.
I'm not sure what's happened there. Aye, I don't know. Mixed feelings with that. Like, aye, I don't know. I love a bit of kickboxing and Thai boxing, man. So when one of the kind of big names comes in, I want to see them winning. But like, it's like, come on, lad, you need to have better grappling than that, man. Get some takedown defence about you. Aye, that's kind of sad to see, but I mean, he didn't give up, Petrosian. Like, he didn't look like he was, like sometimes you get a guy like that and then they get taken down a couple of times and you can see in them, they're just like, no, like they don't want to be there anymore. Like, he was happy to just kind of keep going and like just wherever he would get the chance, he would fling bombs. So, aye, he knows what he needs to work on.
Yes.
Main event time. As noted, it was Rafael Fiziev defeating Rafael Dos Anjos. The battle of the Rafaels, if you will. Fiziev coming out on top. No, by the result that I was expecting. Seemed like it was going to coast all the way to the 5-round decision, but Fiziev landing big at the end of the 5th round.
I think he did, man. Aye, just dropped him.
Start of the 5th round, I should say.
Aye.
End of the fight.
And that was after Dos Anjos in the 4th as well, really, wasn't it?
What did you say there?
I was saying Rafael Dos Anjos did a good 4th round, really. They were talking about like how that was Fiziev's first time ever over the 3 rounds and the first time into
his first fight.
Aye. First time he's ever been taken past 3 rounds and like, would that make a difference kind of having to go that long? Answered it well in the end, obviously, but 4th round maybe wasn't his company.
Clearly in good condition.
Oh, aye, I should expect.
See, I mean, the ending was good, like the sequence, like the knee. I'm not sure if it was a fake knee or it was a knee, and
I think he faked with the knee.
It wasn't got to land. Like, seen it wasn't got to land, and then
I don't know.
Aye, I don't know. That's what I say. I can't tell if it's a fake or if he's bailed it, and then the right just comes and just he's on a wee tap on the heat. And that's enough to get his attention, and then he just boff with the left.
Big left hand.
Just created that wee bit of space for him.
It's just like, here you go. And then that's it.
I felt it was... What did you think of the stoppage in that one?
As in, it was too quick? Is that what you're kind of suggesting? Like, it was... I'm not suggesting it.
I'm asking you what you think.
I agree with the stoppage, I've got to say. I agree with what the ref is seen there. I think his eyes were away.
The thing is, the ref has a close up view, right? We kind of see he's standing over him. Maybe he's seen in his face like his eyes are gone or whatever, and we can't see. But kind of looked like obviously he's knocked in, right?
Aye, so the big punch lands,
but then
Dos Anjos kind of staggers back. It's like he goes to turn away to his left, and then as he falls, he goes back to his right and he lands on his back looking up at Fiziev.
Aye, and he kind of rolls and then puts he brings his knees up and puts his hands up, and then I think Fiziev just gets one punch and he doesn't really.
I want to say he throws like two and lands one, maybe. But the referee was in pretty quick.
1, 2. He landed all two. I just watched it.
Okay.
I had it up. I had it open on a page. Aye, it's 2, but it's not really. They've not really thrown very much ferocity, to be honest. So, looking at it that way, looks like it was stopped a bit earlier, but a bit early. Sorry, but again, we don't have that close up right there view that the referee has.
So the thing I'm thinking is,
on you, fella.
On first look, early stoppage. But then the question is Dos Anjos intelligently defending himself there? And does he have the ability to intelligently defend himself? It seems like the eyes are open and he's focused on Fiziev. He's put his arms and legs up, so he's still in it. He's still defending himself. But then when they two punches come down, he doesn't react in a way that's like grab a hold of him or roll and get away, or it just sort of eats them. You know what I mean? So, like, my instinct is like that's too, like, you've stopped that too early, let's see what's going to happen there. But then, sort of taking a beat, thinking about it, I think that was a pretty good stoppage.
Aye. He didn't complain much either, did he, Dos Anjos?
No. He looked really disappointed, but he just lost the fight, so you would expect him to look really disappointed. Do you know what I mean? So, aye.
I think he came out and said he was disappointed in himself for leaving the space to get caught in. The one that dropped him, like, I think he accepted that. He accepted the loss, and it's obviously just disappointment for him.
To be fair, like, Fiziev is a ferocious striker. He's got really good Thai boxing, and Dos Anjos had like totally weathered the storm. Like, he'd taken everything Fiziev had up until that point. Like, he had gave a really good account of himself, and then he'd just like let his defences drop, and Fiziev landed a bomb, and that was that. So I can see why. Like, I mean, I've not looked at the scorecards up to that point or anything, but I think it would have been like maybe like kind of 3-1 Dos Anjos or 2 apiece maybe going into that 5th round. Like, it's not as if like Dos Anjos was going to be out the fight or anything. At that point, so you can see why he would be bitterly disappointed that he's let it slip at that point.
Although I'm sure Dos Anjos' corner were saying to him empty the clip in this round, if I remember correctly.
Right, okay.
So I don't know if they thought they were chasing it or whether
they probably think he needed that round. Aye. So they're thinking, right, it's probably 2 apiece here.
Aye. I think that's what it was, mate. Aye. Good main event though, again. Good main event.
Aye, it was a fun fight, man. It was a really interesting matchup. I was really intrigued with the two of them. It was interesting styles to see against one another. Fiziev is a guy that's like a long time striker who's added other stuff to his game, and Dos Anjos is long time grappler who's added other stuff to his game, but they've both got quite a striking heavy style at this point in time. You know what I mean? But they've just got different approaches to it. So I was really intrigued by it. It was a really fun fight, man. And Dos Anjos, like, he's had a long career at this point, man. He's been at the top of the game for a while, and he's shown that, like, even with these up and coming guys, he can still hang. And obviously, this is him kind of slightly rejuvenated, been back at lightweight, because he'd been at welterweight for a while. Did pretty damn well, man, for a guy that's really undersized for welterweight. Dos Anjos is a guy that could really be doing with a 165-pound division. Like, he would do well with a division between lightweight and welterweight, so he would, because he's on the big side for lightweight, so it's a heavy cut for him to get down to lightweight. But he's just not got the height and reach that you need for welterweight to be really effective there. So, aye, one of them. Now I remember mentioning fight of the night. So there was 2 performance of the night. Bonuses given out. We had Chase Sherman for his stoppage, and Fiziev in the main event for his stoppage. They got 50 G's, baby. And obviously, as I said, Michael Johnson and Jamie Malarkey was the fight of the night. So that is pretty much that. That's all we're working with this week. We will look ahead now to next week's card before we wrap it up. So it is UFC on ABC 3, aka UFC Long Island. And that is Saturday, July 16th at the UBS Arena in Elmont, New York. The main event is Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez. That fight should be fireworks. I'm expecting absolute war for them. Let's run up through it. So, starting at the bottom, and we're still there, we have Bill Gio versus Herbert Burns. We have Jessica Penny versus Emily Ducote. We have Phil Rowe versus Abubakar Nurmagomedov. Yet another Nurmagomedov, man.
Goodness, man, they're everywhere.
Dwight Grant versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Dustin Jacoby versus Da-Un Jung. Ricky Simon versus Jack Shore. Punahale, I nearly read Punahale is punchable. My brain,
no
man.
Good sign.
Punahale Soriano versus Dalka Langyambula. And then moving on to the main card, we've got Lauren Murphy versus Misha Tate. Let's see if this fight actually happens. Shane Burgos versus Charles Jourdain. Matt Schnell versus Suma Daraji. Li Jingliang versus Muslim Salikov. Michelle Watterson versus Amanda Lemos. And as mentioned, Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez. That's a pretty good card, man. Pretty damn good card. Let's take a start. I've got to say Brian Ortega, right? Yair Rodriguez for the fight of the night. I'd be pretty shocked if it's no. But Shane Burgos and Charles Jourdain, I would expect that to be really good. Probably Li Jingliang, Muslim Salikov, that's probably going to be pretty good. Michelle Watson and Amanda Lemos in the co-main, that could be really fun as well. I don't know if I see either one of them stopping the other, so I think that could be a war. On the undercard, Ricky Simon, I'm pretty sure it's Simon. We'll go with it, sounds cool. Ricky Simon versus Jack Shore. There's potential in there. That could be a really fun fight as well. So I think that's a solid card. I'm up for that. Any thoughts, lads?
Every card's got the potential to be a good card, pal.
Solid fence sitting.
Absolutely. Right up there on the fence.
Well played, sir. Well played.
It's a good place to be.
Harvey?
It seems like it will be a fun night of fights for sure, Or it could be, has the potential to be.
He's up there with me with his generic pattern, just like me, man. We've both went with the generic fence sitting pattern. None of us committing. That was like
politician level pattern there, man. That was. It's going to be great. Well, I mean, it could be. It should be. We'll see.
I've watched a lot of Sky News this week with politics in mind, so forgive me if I answer in a more balanced approach.
Oh dear.
I mean, the Ortega and Rodriguez fight should be a.
Of course, is Ortega? Is this his first fight since against Volkanovski? It was something before Volkanovski. It was a screamer, wasn't it? Like so.
I want to say he had a fight on the books or rumoured that never came to fruition. I'm trying to think.
Right, they held him back because that was a long time ago. Christ,
a while ago, aye. That's
Harvey,
got
you
to
were
be
in
close to a year.
Scotland for fuck's sake. That's how long ago that was.
That's got to be around about a year, aye. He did have an injury he was dealing with, I remember that.
Ah, right, so there's been a wee knock.
Aye. Can't remember what it was, but aye, so it's definitely been a good wee while since he's fought. Yair Rodriguez had a couple of good fights and kind of mixed results and stuff, so aye, this is an interesting one. Winner of that is like right in the mix, like probably one away for a title shot. Just depends. It depends what happens with Volkanovski. There's chat of him going up to challenge at lightweight. So we shall see. I'm really intrigued to see what Volkanovski could do as a lightweight, because he's no a big guy. Like, he's pretty thick, but he's no big in terms of his frame. So the heavier he fights it, the more of a disadvantage he's got in terms of height and reach. Like Max Holloway's got some good size on him. Obviously, he's handled that size perfectly well, but like that sort of same height and reach advantage over him, but at a heavier weight as well, does that then become too much? I don't know. But like, his skill set wise, Volkanovski is cream of the crop right now, so I'd be really intrigued to see him against like Michael Chandler, Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, like pretty much the full kind of top 5 or so at lightweight would be really interesting fights against Volkanovski. So, aye, depending on what happens there, that kind of shapes what's next for the winner of Brian Ortega and Yair Rodriguez. But there will be no doubt be more on that off the back of the fight card next week. So I think we'll leave it there. And we'll just finish by saying a happy birthday to Harvey, because this episode will come out on Harvey's birthday, if I'm not mistaken.
Hey!
Yeah, you're right. Oh boy, on Tuesday.
So
Tuesday the 12th, this comes out.
a premature happy birthday for us,
Happy
but for
birthday,
the
bro.
listeners, it will indeed be Harvey's birthday if you listen to this on release day. So yes, another year older, another year less wise.
Another year closer to death.
Jesus Christ.
Nice and morbid, just the way we like it.
Well, on that note, we'll love yous and leave yous. If you have been, thank you very much for listening. Aye, same time, same place next week, troops.
Absolutely.
I've been Mick.
Catch you there.
They've been Harvey and Paul. Bye-bye, driver.
Bye, driver.
Bye, driver. Bye-bye.